All right, guys, we just talked about the life and legacy of Malcolm Jamal Warner and how much he meant to us as a child star. Check that out in the last segment if you missed it. Now we're going to be talking about that big, beautiful bill, and that student loan forgiveness is now paused.
So, student loan forgiveness is paused. Pause, son. Pause. So I know you love to do I told you so. Guys, just so you know, me and Renee have a thing going where she's always right.
Whatever, Nee.
So student loan forgiveness is paused, guys. And last week or a couple of weeks ago, I don't know when this episode is coming out, the big, beautiful bill got passed. There's an article from CBS as well as a relic in the next couple of weeks. I don't even know if this website is going to be working. NPR. Oh, shit. NPR ain't going to have no funding. So this might be the last time. This might be the last time you see NPR. So make sure you check it out. But it's a problem. We got a problem. So most of the types of student loan forgiveness programs have been put on pause for right now. We don't know how long, but it's on pause. So what I wrote down here, because it's just too much and stuff. So the bottom line is this. Save borrowers, right? SAVE borrowers. That's the plan that capped payments at 5% of your income, right? And had forgiveness completely frozen. Well, forgiveness has been completely frozen because of a court fight over the original debt relief push, right? So this was, 3 or 4 years ago when Biden wanted to relieve all the debt. That stuff has been in limbo. And now people who have been in that program and have been doing, payments based off of 5% of their income, pause. We don't know if you're going to still stay in that program.
So that's the income-based repayment system?
That's a little bit different than an income-based repayment system.
Okay.
Income-based repayment borrowers, right? You guys are stuck in limbo, right? So basically, the forgiveness that you thought were coming. So people who thought that I'm going to make my payments, I just got to follow this plan that they have based off of my income.
Right. So like PSLF.
Yeah, we don't know if PSLF going to finish.
Right.
Here's the problem, though. The problem with PSLF is, let's say you are safe and PSLF continues. If your hospital does like gender affirming surgery,
okay,
or anything that the administration deems as a problem, they have the right to take that off of
what?
Your hospital could not be eligible.
For PSLF?
Yes.
Even though it's a nonprofit?
Yes. Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. So I was, it's funny. The reason I bring this up is, this is a big thing, but I actually was I met this doctor. He's a GI doctor at my hospital, and, he wants to do locums, but he's like, I got to wait a year because this is the last year of PSLF for me.
Oh, God.
And I was like, well, this is before this, right? Before I knew about this. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Right. For me, if you've done 10 years, so the reason why...
If you're in year 9, you wait till year 10.
So the reason why some people may be like, hey, well, what do we... Like, let's clarify it. You want to clarify for them or you want me to do it?
No, you do it.
So the reason why folks would not do locums if they're in PSLF is, in PSLF, you have to be working at a nonprofit hospital. Like, you have to be employed at a nonprofit hospital. When you're working as a locum tenens doctor, as an independent contractor, you ain't got no job.
You
right?
ain't employed.
You're not employed. You making money. You working as a whatever it may be specialty, but you're not employed.
Right.
So you're not going to fulfill that part of PSLF.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks who are just like, yeah, I love this. Like, I'm going to get my loans paid off, but I just want to work as a locums. They're going to be like, yeah, no, let me finish this. So that's what he was saying.
Right.
I want to get through my 10 years, 120 payments, no missed payments. Once I'm done with that and I get all of my student loans forgiven,
oh my God,
I'm out. So people like him, screwed. What do? Right? Because, you're talking about 10 payments, you're talking about 120 payments at usually like a minimum.
Right.
And then the rest of it will be forgiven.
Right.
It doesn't mean that
So you didn't put as much of a dent in your loans over the last 10 years as you could have if you had been paying kind of the real minimum payment.
And then the one big beautiful bill, phases out. It phases out the SAVE plan, the PAYE plan, ICR. I ain't going into all that. You guys got to look at all of it. We're a podcast and stuff, right? All that stuff is being phased out by 2028, right? And it's going to be replaced by a 30-year repayment plan that takes a lifetime to finish.
Wait, what?
Yep. All those plans are gone by 2028.
No. Say the second part. Replaced by what?
It's going to be replaced by a single 30-year repayment plan.
So it's going back to what it was before.
No, it's going to the default, right?
Right.
But there was all these different plans to help you.
Right.
All of those other things are gone.
Right.
So
no income-based repayment.
No, it's going to be gone by 2028.
No PSLF potentially.
Might be out.
No save.
Might be out.
No pay.
Yep.
So essentially, it's like
you're on your own.
Right.
You're on your own. So I think there's two ways to look at this.
Wait. And also, question. This also includes that the plus loans are gone as well.
Oh, I don't know. The plus loan's gone?
I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look that up. If someone knows, let us know, yo.
Yeah, because I saw something about the plus loans being gone also, like Parent Plus for graduate being gone.
All I got to say is listen.
Let us know. But that's what I thought I saw.
Thinking about being a doctor, if you thinking about going into medical profession, you better not let your parents put nothing in your name. Don't let your brother or your sister put that car in your name. Don't let them start that cell phone. Listen, you need your credit. Private loan lenders, they're like happy right now.
Yeah, right
they
now
are
it's
happy.
predatory. They're going to be predators.
So I was thinking about it, and I wrote this down. I was like, on one side, you're going to have people, because this is what people were saying. You have some people who are like, finally, my taxes are not going to go and subsidize someone else's student loans, right? You have people on one side who are happy.
That's fine, but when
that.
you need a doctor and there's not one available, don't be mad about it.
On the other end, you told a bunch of teachers, doctors, lawyers,
not to become those things.
No. Right now, you have them already in a plan that says, if you play by these rules, right? This is a government thing. Mm-hmm. If you play by these rules, we will forgive the rest. If you work at a nonprofit hospital, which is beneficial for the community, if you make payments and don't miss a payment, right? Then,
right.
So basically what we're saying now is, you can't trust the government. Can't trust the government.
Well, what you're saying is now you can't trust the government. You can't rely on the government, right? You can't rely on the government, right? Because governments make laws, they change laws. So you can never trust that whatever is the law today is going to be the law tomorrow. What you can't do is rely on the government, right? Because the government can change its laws at any particular point in time.
I think there should be some type of retroactive type thing where you get grandfathered in and so forth. Not getting into the specifics of all that, but I do believe that there should be something that's grandfathered in. But hey, I
mean, even if there isn't, whether there is or isn't a grandfather clause, right? The reality is going forward, this is still going to rear its ugly head in some way, shape, or form. So if taxpayers who are not in these professions are like, thankfully, our taxes aren't going to student loans and X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's fine. But, and you and I know, because we work in rural communities.
Yeah.
You and I know we work in rural communities. So when you come into the hospital and when you're at an urban center now, right? Let's fast forward maybe 50 years from now if this keeps up. And now you're at an urban center and they're like, oh yeah, there's no doctor here that can do that for you. When the tertiary care hospital now is no longer a tertiary care hospital because they don't have enough doctors. They don't have enough resources to do the things that need to be done. Don't talk about, I live in New York City. How is this possible? Go back to your laws and regulations and you will see how that is possible. That's all. Just don't complain. The public just cannot complain about these things. You and I know in rural communities, people be complaining like crazy. I'm like, you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself.
Well, I think that in some way, some form of like,
They be complaining. You know they do.
if you don't invest, if you don't as a society invest in the education of the people in your society, right? Whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, like you will start to see major issues 20 years, actually 10 years, 20 years down the line, right?
Certainly 50.
So basically, if you make it really difficult to become a doctor, if you make it very difficult to be in whatever healthcare professional may be, it makes it really hard for folks to come, particularly to areas that don't pay as much or areas that are not very advantageous to be at. You make people become very strategic, right? So if you have so for the folks who are listening right now whose parents are just going to write out a check, they're like, whatever, this doesn't change anything for me.
Right.
But, if you are and if you're just saying, look, I need to recoup my money, so I'm going to go into a specialty, right? Or I'm going to go into a non-primary care field, and I'm going into the city, or I'm going into concierge medicine, or I'm going to do TikToks, which I went back and I listened to the game tape about what I was saying, and I'm going to talk about it later on in the show, but I need to revise what I'm saying. But this is part of it, right? Like, if you're making more money on TikTok, if you're making more money dancing than actually operating, eventually you're going to be like, the jig is up. Why am I putting in all this time?
If you find more innovative ways in order to become, lucrative, right, in your income, then you're going to do that. And the reality is this, look, as many rich people as there are out there, they not all becoming doctors. I mean, let's just...
But I think let's
just put that out there.
One thing that drives me nuts, though, about this is like, in this bill and just in general, like, I don't understand why average people side with billionaires and businesses that are billionaire in quality, right? So, like, they're okay with Wall Street getting a bailout, right? But everybody else, anybody personally, it has to be personal responsibility.
No, they're not okay with Wall Street getting a bailout.
Even though, like, the personal responsibility part, the person, that's actually going to affect your community way more than a Wall Street bailout. It just drives me nuts.
But they're not okay with Wall Street getting a bailout. If you ask them, right, they're not okay with Wall Street getting a bailout. The problem is Wall Street is so big. It's like, well, who you fighting? Like, right?
There's no individual person to look at.
Right. There's no, exactly. Like, who are you looking at? Right. Whereas doctors, although, doctors make up a huge group, but you can see a doctor, you interact with doctors, you can touch them, you can smell them, right? Like, you can see doctors and you can have an opinion on that because you feel like you're just closer to it. Right. And so they're not okay with anybody getting a bailout except for themselves. They want the bailout. Everybody wants the bailout. And I don't blame everybody for wanting the bailout. But the reality is that you've got to realize at some point that certain things, certain decisions are going to impact you in a certain way. And that's all. Right. It's not to say, oh, you should agree that doctors should get a bailout or you should agree that Wall Street should get a bailout. I don't care whether or not you agree with that. I'm just saying, understand what the consequences are and don't complain later on because you've been affected. It's the whole be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And the reality is right now, the way that this thing is going is that in my vision, if this continues in this way where only, people who can write out a check can actually get into the profession of medicine, one, you're going to have a lot of medical schools closing. That's number one. Because all these rich people that can write a check, I mean, you don't have that many people whose kids want to become doctors. So a lot of medical schools are going to be closing, which two means that you're going to have even further more of a physician shortage, right? Which three basically means that you're probably moving in the direction of a developing country, which I've always said that this country would love to be a developing country in some aspects. And I think that that's where you're headed.
So picture this, y'all. So this means when you graduate from college, you're going to get a coupon book that says your student loans start at the age of 22, 23. And that coupon book is basically going to say you ain't done till you 54.
Right.
50, that's crazy.
Yeah, 54,
That's the
55.
time. That's the time when you're supposed to be saving up for your kids' tuition. That's the time when you're supposed to be saving up for your retirement. So in essence, you're going to be having more people reliant on, if it's even going to be out there, the safety net.
Right.
Right. The social safety net, Social Security, and all those different things. That's if that's going to be there. So it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So I think a lot of people right now are in limbo, particularly people who were using these federal financial repayment plans as part of like either their ability to invest, their ability to plan for the future, even what kind of job that they're looking at. The other thing too that we haven't talked about, we may have to say this for another episode, is the insurers for under Obamacare have all put out that insurance premiums are going to go through the roof starting January 1st. So it's just, all I got to say is this, y'all, it's a different world. A lot of stuff's going to change. A lot of stuff is going to change.
So if you were me back in, when did you graduate? 1990 or 2000. You graduated from college and this is what you have ahead of you. What would you do?
I wouldn't do anything differently. I'll tell you why. Because if I follow the path that I just followed, right, which is, guys, we didn't do any income-based repayment. We just paid off all of our debt. So I just want everybody to know, like, when you graduate, like now at least, if you graduate now, the income that you make being a physician, you're going to be able to pay off your student loans. Okay. I don't know how long it's going to take you, but you're going to be able to pay off your student loans and live comfortably at the same time. That's my opinion. I don't care what anybody has to say. You're going to be comfortable, right? The question is how are you going to get there? Are you going to get there? Well, basically now you're more than likely going to have to get there where you're going to have to pay off your entire student loan debt, right? That's what we did. The majority of students who are paying off their student loans right now are not doing that. They're doing it off of some type of PSLF or income-based. So for me right now, I'd just be like, I want to get into med school. I want to be a doctor. I'm going to pay off my loans because I didn't think of any other way to get through it right now, right? But also at the same time, what I would be more concerned about is, do I have enough credit to get through? That's where I'd be nervous, right? So this boils down to, guys, you can go back several, I don't know how many episodes where we talked about when I put out maximum for my student loans. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I took out maximum student loans every year in med school because I just didn't want to ask my parents for any money. I just wanted to make sure that, that I had enough. And I'll tell you, we did not live luxurious at all. I didn't live luxurious.
No.
I don't know about you. Your rent was more than mine, but I didn't live luxurious.
$150 or $125 more than yours.
You was living in the plaza, right?
I don't live in no daggone plaza.
All right. So I took out
why do you always have to lie about something? This is what I don't understand. People, please write in and write into Nee.
Don't talk to my audience.
Write into Nee and let him know that his truth is enough. His truth is enough. And that he does not have to, make up stories, and just exaggerate things for you guys to appreciate him. Write him, because I feel like...
Should I look at the screen and say it?
I feel like...
So tell me, what should I say?
I feel like... No, you don't need to say anything, because I'm saying
Guys,
it for
my name
you.
is Dr. Nee Darko, and I'm enough. I'm fine. And gosh darn it, people like me.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Yeah, that please write into him and let him know.
All right. So listen, guys. So I took out, even though the house that I lived in was, the apartment that I had was not expensive. My apartment was what?
$300.
$300 a month, right? Renee's was what?
$425.
$425. Which weird. I had the washing machine and dryer. You didn't.
Yeah. But I had an independent house. With a garage.
Yeah. But I took out the maximum amount for said reasons. You got to be really careful now. You starting from going into your pre-med years in college, y'all, you got to be real strategic. You got to make sure you're looking for scholarships. You got to make sure that you are very smart about this, because not only the student loan repayment issue, that's an issue. But there's caps on how much you can take out.
That's the problem.
So the Senate, they changed the bill a little bit and they increased how much you can take out as a med student, right?
Do we know how much that is?
I think it's like 50 grand. So if you're in med school, law school, and I forget what other profession, you can take out more than somebody else who's like, for example, let's say you had someone who wants to take student loans out for a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And then you compare that to someone who wants to take student loans out for a professional degree.
Okay.
Their maximum is like 50K.
Okay.
The masters, I forget what it's like, but it's a difference. But if you blew your load all in college,
You're screwed.
you're going to be screwed.
Better go to them city colleges and them state colleges. But even then,
Yo, them city colleges.
they're still like.
And in New York, they think they slick. New York, we know what you're doing. So New York will basically say, was it free tuition for everybody?
What do you mean?
Remember New York, the New York SUNY schools? They say free tuition for everybody?
No, SUNY is state.
I know.
CUNY is city.
Okay, but for SUNY, right?
Okay.
Remember? Kimmy went to, like, it, basically they had a plan.
No, it wasn't free tuition. It was free housing or something like that.
No, it was free tuition, but you had to pay for housing.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was
that
something
way?
crazy, but that housing is like,
Oh, you might
the
be
housing
right.
is mad expensive. It's like 20K.
You might be right.
So I was like,
You
wait, how
might
am
be
I
right.
saving money?
Yeah, you might be right.
So all I'm just saying is everybody, you got to be real strategic nowadays. The jig is up. You're going to have to be strategic, which college you look at, gap years now. Guys, gap years, post-back programs. Oh, man. Because all of that stuff counts, right?
Gotta start DIYing.
All of that stuff counts. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff that's going to change in the next several years.
Yeah.
It's going to change.
It's going to be it's going to be much more difficult for students trying to get into medical school, trying to get through medical school as well.
I want to hear from people. Seriously. I got here.
I really
I want to
do.
know. I want to know if you are a resident right now, if you are an attending right now and you are on this PSLF system right now and you upset, yo, you can leave us a voicemail.
Shout.
You can leave us a voicemail. You can even send us a text because I want to read it. I want to read it on next show.
You can use expletives too if you like.
Oh, yeah. I'm really interested in that.
You want to anonymize yourself. You can. If you want to just call and vent and be like, I don't believe this.
But how about people? But what about people who actually are on the other side? I want to hear from them too. You?
The people on the other side
who are like, I don't want my taxes to pay off these mugs. What do you call it? Student loans subsidized. I want to hear from them.
We'll hear from everybody.
So
we'll hear from everybody.
So if you are in support of this, write us in, send us a voicemail. If you're not in support of this and you feel betrayed, if you feel like you got, whatever, let us know.
Screwed
also.
over.
I
want to hear from the potential medical students. Actually, medical students and potential medical students, those who are like applying this year or got their acceptances and are just waiting to start school.
Yeah. Team responsibility versus team broken promises. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Which side are you on? Yeah, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. All right. Actually, so I do have a question for you as somebody who has been involved in a federal student loan program in many different ways, right?
What do you mean?
You've taken out loans in college, right?
Okay.
You took out federal loans in med school, right?
Yeah.
So you're part of the federal student loan program.
Okay.
Right? Whether it's subsidized or unsubsidized.
Okay.
So you've benefited from that.
Yes.
In some form or fashion, right?
Yes.
But you paid off your student loans the traditional way, if not an accelerated traditional way.
Yes.
Are you split anyway about this?
I think that people should have the option of either paying the way we did traditionally, and I think the government should help to subsidize. I think that option should exist.
You mean there should be forgiveness?
Yeah, there should be forgiveness. There should be loan forgiveness. Just because I, didn't benefit from something doesn't mean that somebody else shouldn't benefit from it, right? Like, I can't stand people who live in society like that. Well, I didn't get it, so why does everybody else get it? I'm like, that is such a selfish way to go about living, right? Because there's always going to be, whether it's student loans, whether it's, somebody won a new car, whether it's, whatever it is, there is always going to be someone who benefits from something that you didn't benefit from. Shoot, the person in front of you can have a coupon that you didn't have for the same damn product that you have at the supermarket. Now all of a sudden this person should pay full price. Like for me, this just doesn't make sense. Like how do you live in a society with that kind of thought process?
So what do you think is I think the worst one will be not the PSLF, not the income-based repayment. The issue will be the caps on how much student loans you can take out. I think that's going to be the bigger issue because I think that's going to turn people off more. That basically is, if you want to talk about gatekeeping, I think that is as obvious and
you
as
won't be able to even get the loan.
gatekeeping as you can get with that. So that for me is the bigger issue. I think for doctors in particular, you're going to be able to pay off your student loans. However, it's going to be more of a problem for those, because you remember like 3 years ago, we were at AOA, and there was a student who was graduating with $400,000 of student loan debt. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, I think the caps are going to be much more of a problem because that's going to be the thing that determines whether or not you can even get through the door, right? So you'll have an acceptance in your hand, and then they'll say, hey, pay this tuition, and you'll be like, I can't. And that's it. Right? So, I agree with you that that's going to be more of a problem. But going into the next segment, let's talk about kind of what you discussed. And that is that as a doctor, you might be able to make more on TikTok than you would being able to work as a doctor. We kind of talked about that in a previous episode. We're going to revisit that again in the next segment. So stay tuned.